I'm Dr. Ward Bond, and I welcome you to Life-Changing Wellness Episode 54. Today, we talk about sleep and the negative effects of blue light and ways to combat it. Your daily life is about to get healthier on this life-changing episode.
This is Dr. Ward Bond's Life-Changing Wellness. Life-Changing Wellness. Here's Dr. Ward Bond.
Welcome, everyone, to Life-Changing Wellness, and I'm excited about today's show. We have a great guest and an amazing topic about sleep and blue light. But before we begin, if you could just do me a favor, please head over to iTunes after the interview with my guest today, rate and review the show for me, and I thank you ahead of time for making our show great. And I encourage you to look up my show page on radiomd.com/Dr. Bond. My guest today is Dr. Michael Breus, a clinical psychologist and both a diplomat of the American Board of Sleep Medicine and a fellow of the American Academy of Sleep Medicine. He was one of the youngest people to have passed the board at the age of 31, and with a specialty in sleep disorders, is one of only 168 psychologists in the world with his credentials and distinction. And Dr. Breus is on the clinical advisory board of the Dr. Oz Show and appears regularly on the program 39 times in 8 seasons. And recently, in the Daily Mail, he was quoted as being Oprah's sleep doctor. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome the esteemed Dr. Michael Breus. Welcome to the show, Doctor.
Thanks. Appreciate it. I love being here.
Well, I have got a big question. I think a lot of us want to know. Could you explain to us what is blue light and why is it bad for our vision?
Sure. Yeah, so it's interesting. So first of all, just to let everybody know, blue light is not actually blue in color. People think when we say blue light, well, I don't have any blue light because I don't have any blue light bulbs in my room or something along those lines. It turns out that light is a spectrum, and it involves multiple colors. And this particular area that we call blue is in the 450 to 480 nanometer range in terms of the frequency of the light. All commercial light, a light bulb that when you walk into a store, a light bulb that you have in your home is going to have blue light in it. More specifically, our devices, so our mobile phones, our iPads or tablets, our laptops, all of those have blue light emanating from them unless there's some type of a software that's on them that changes what's called the color temperature. But usually we're being exposed to blue light every day. And the reason that's a problem is that it was discovered about 10 years ago, there are certain cells in our eyeballs called melanopsin cells, and these cells react very interestingly to this specific frequency of light. In fact, when that 450 nanometer blue light hits those cells in our eye, it actually turns off the melatonin faucet in our brain. And of course, we need melatonin because that's kind of that key that starts the engine for sleep.
Well, you bring up melatonin, and I want to kind of hit that subject real quick because I'm hearing a lot more about it, such as caffeine can slow down the release of melatonin by as much as 40%, which is why it's probably not good to drink coffee at bedtime. But,
right.
I personally take melatonin. I probably take upwards to around 3 milligrams every night. But I also go outside. I like to go outside for about 15 minutes to 30 minutes a day to get natural light. I think to me it helps with creativity and clear the brain as you step out of the office for a few minutes, and to kind of recharge my own melatonin stores automatically. Does supplementing with melatonin help people who are, let's say, inundated with a lot of blue light during the day from smartphones and computers?
So it kind of doesn't work exactly like that. So what we know is that the blue light turns off our natural melatonin production in the evening. And so I think the question that you're asking me is well, if I took a melatonin supplement at night, would that overcome that natural melatonin that I would need to help me fall asleep? I guess theoretically, yes, but when you ingest melatonin, let's say from pill form, it's going to take close to 90 minutes for it to reach plasma concentration levels for it to be appropriate. So I guess if you took melatonin 90 minutes before bed and then still had blue light exposure, I guess you could probably work that out. But the truth of the matter is that there are actually better things that you can do out there. Believe it or not, there are different supplements that can be very helpful in building up our eyes' ability to filter that blue light naturally. And by the way, you're taking too much melatonin. Average dose for most people is about 1.5 milligrams.
1.5. Okay. Well, thank you for that tip, because I will definitely start doing that. Now I know that, you're really bringing forth the subject matter of blue light to the public. We don't hear a lot about it. We may see an article here and there, but, a lot of people just kind of glaze it over. But I want all my listeners to realize that blue light is something that we really need to be not just aware of, but we need to understand the damage that it's causing to our vision, but also to our sleep patterns. Can you explain that damage?
Absolutely, Ward. Now, first of all, I think just like how there's junk food out there, I would argue that there's junk light out there, right? And we're experiencing this junk light all the time. And so what ends up happening is, let's take a look at example of a teenager, right? So I don't know about some of your listeners. I've got two teenagers at home. I have a 16-year-old and a 14-year-old. And let me tell you something. It's like a active war to try to get their phone out of their hands before they go to bed at night, right? And so, so what happens here is this blue light exposure hits them in the evening, and it doesn't allow their melatonin faucet to flow, allowing them to fall asleep. Now, teenagers naturally want to stay up late and sleep late because their circadian rhythm, what you mentioned earlier, is already pushed a little later in the evening. So it's a double whammy, if you will. Their biology already wants them to go to bed late. They're looking at these devices, which doesn't help the brain and train that circadian rhythm to go to sleep. And you basically have kids who are staying up until 1 o'clock in the morning on a school night. And then it's all heck to try to wake them up in the morning, because they certainly don't want to get up. And it's rightfully so, because their biology is telling them something different. Now, this is not just the case in teenagers, but we see this as a case in all adults. Now, not necessarily with the want to stay up late and sleep late, but we definitely know that there is a disruption to our circadian cycle. And remember, everybody, there's two different processes for sleep in the brain. One is what makes you fall asleep, called your sleep drive. The other is what allows you to stay asleep during a particular time, and that's called your circadian rhythm. And blue light seems to affect your circadian rhythm the most.
So actually, when we hear people say, or let's say people come to you and they say, Dr. Breus, I don't have a problem falling asleep, but I have a problem staying asleep. So that could actually be linked to looking at a smartphone or an iPad late into the evening?
It could. It could indeed. It's definitely something that I try to ask my patients to have what I call an electronic curfew, right? So roughly an hour before bed, I ask them to stop using devices. Now, of course, like I said before, try to, pull the phone away from a teenager's hands, and, you need a crowbar and a tow truck to try to get it out of there. So that's where supplementation can come in, or even blue blocker glasses. My children
that was
both
my
wear
next
blue blocker glasses.
Yeah, that was my next question, because there are two things that I just started doing. One, I've been wearing the blue blocker glasses in front of my computer, and I've even started to wear them when I look at my phone or check it during the day. But what I've also done is I went into my smartphone and I changed it to what they, with an iPhone, it's called night shift. So it makes your screen a little yellower.
I got some bad news.
Well, please tell me, because I want to know more about that.
So the good news is that blue blocker glasses are awesome and they work well. I use them myself, and I use them with both of my children. But the night shift was actually shown not to have any effect whatsoever on melatonin. There was a great study that came out of RPI in New York that looked at night shift in particular. The best software program that you can get, for example, for your laptop is called Flux, FLU.X. If you just Google it, you can download it. It's free. You download it to your laptop, and it will automatically change what's called the color temperature. All that night shift seems to do is lower the brightness. So the way I think about it is, remember back in the day when you had a stereo system that had an equalizer on it?
Yes.
Remember that?
Oh, yeah,
and you had
I
the
remember
volume,
that.
and then you had the treble. Right. You had the volume, you got the treble, and you got the bass. What night shift does is turns down the volume, but it doesn't change the treble or the bass. That's really what needs to be done. That's what this Flux program does. That's what the blue blockers do. And that's also what the lutein, the supplement does. But the supplement is actually works even more effectively. It's got these ingredients in it called lutein and, zeaxanthin. And both of these over the course of time actually help build up the natural filter in your eye and help train that melanopsin cell to not turn off that melatonin faucet. So a lot of my patients, they don't want to wear the glasses and they don't want to do the software. There's just too much going on. They'd rather take a supplement in the morning and take care of it. And that's where lutein comes in.
Okay, well, yeah, let's really talk about this because I know that we've heard about lutein, especially, for the last, good 15 years in the areas of dry macular degeneration. And zeaxanthin is kind of like the sister carotenoid with lutein. You see them a lot in combination in certain bright colored foods.
Right.
So by taking these two nutrients on a daily basis, and let's say someone's been staring at their smartphone, working in front of a computer for many years,
right.
Are we able to protect our eyes now and possibly prevent, because I've seen an article recently where blue light may actually be increasing the risk and rates of macular degeneration in our society.
Sure.
And what do you have to say?
So first of all, remember, I'm a sleep guy and a clinical psychologist. I'm not an ophthalmologist. But with the research that I have read would suggest that yes, we can actually put up a halt sign, a stop sign for this, and it actually will help engage those fibers in the eye to actually create a better natural filter for this blue light so that it doesn't affect these cells. As far as macular degeneration is concerned, to be honest with you, it's not my area, so it's hard for me to say anything about that other than I know that when using this lutein product that I've been using from Twin Labs, it actually replaces the need in certain cases for these blue blocker glasses.
So what is what type of dose are we looking at with lutein and the zeaxanthin?
That's a good question. I don't have I guess I can get the product. Hold on.
I've seen them to where, lutein can be anywhere from 15 to 20 milligrams. And, I've seen some of them slightly higher. But, I guess if we were eating a ton of fruits and vegetables like everyone should be doing, we could definitely get that from our diet. But, I'm like you, Dr. Breus. I'm a big believer in supplementation. I believe that there are so many nutrients out there that have therapeutic and clinical applications, and in this case, our eyes. And I know that you're not an eye doctor, and I know that your expertise is in sleep, and that's where I really want to kind of go next is to talk about sleep and how can we train. Are there ways to train ourselves to finally put the phone down, the smartphone and the iPad in the evening, and maybe have some real conversation, and then actually go to sleep naturally?
So first of all, there absolutely are. And just to answer your prior question, roughly 20 milligrams of lutein and it looks like approximately 4 milligrams of zeaxanthin are what is in the product. And that's been actually worked out quite well for me. As far as changing habits, the first thing we always have to look at is what is the reason behind the habit. So why do so many people feel the need to check their cell phones before they go to bed or, watch the last episode of Game of Thrones up until the moment they fall asleep on their iPad or what have you. And so some of it has to do with the idea of not understanding that sleep is not an on-off switch. It's really more like slowly pulling your foot off the brake and slowly putting your foot on the gas. There's a process that has to occur there, and we have to allow our bodies that process. A good 20 minutes to fall asleep is perfectly normal, but yet we as a society think, oh my gosh, we're just supposed to go in there and crash, right? That's not necessarily the case. I created a technique that I call the power down hour. So let's say you're going to go to bed at 11, all right? Starting at 10 o'clock, I say, take 20 minutes to do things you just gotta do. So that might be send that last email. In our house, it's getting the kids' backpacks together, finding shoes, things like that. The next 20 minutes is for hygiene, brush your teeth, wash your face, maybe take an evening shower or bath. And then the final 20 minutes is for some form of meditation, relaxation, prayer, whatever kind of helps calm you down at the end of the night is really going to be the most helpful thing for you to do. Checking your Facebook or, again, trying to get your high score on your video game, while it's distracting you from your problems, it's really not helping induce a level of relaxation to get you to sleep. Most people don't know, but your heart rate needs to be at about 60 or below in order to enter into a state of unconsciousness.
Wow. I mean, I love those tips, and right now I'm thinking how I can readjust my evening to actually start doing that. I actually like to put, like you said, you put the phone down, you put the iPad down, because I don't want to be reading things late at night that could stimulate my consciousness, or may cause unneeded or unwanted anxiety for no reason. To me, I think a lot of people need to get off of Facebook because there's too much drama there, and we don't need that going to bed. But I want to ask you a question, Dr. Breus, because there's so many people that tell me that when they go to bed, they leave the TV on in their bedroom on all night, and I know for a fact that is unhealthy. Why is that?
Well, so here's the thing: it always baffles me because I'll be the first one to admit that I fall asleep. Well, actually, I should say my wife falls asleep with the television on, right? And I'm the sleep doctor, right? I mean, Go figure, right?
Right.
So what I've done is it turns out that 95% of the televisions that are made today have a timer built into the software. So I just go into the timer and I set the timer for 45 minutes and she falls asleep, the television turns off, and then all is good. I would argue that most people just don't even realize that there's a timer built into these television sets, and just fool around with the software menu and you should find it. Or better yet, if you can't find it, if you've got a child, they'll find it in about 10 seconds.
Well, let me ask you this, because I know we all know that the smartphones and the iPads and, a lot of these high-powered computer screens. I mean, I have an iMac. I've got a 5K Retina screen, and praise the Lord that I sit here and, have blue blocking glasses on. But are a lot of the brand new LED TVs, the smart TVs, are those giving out a lot of blue light as well?
Yeah, they really haven't come up with what's amazing to me is this Flux software that I was talking about before. Why isn't that been downloaded onto every television set in the United States at this point? It just seems like a logical thing to do. I don't even know if you can download it. I guess if you have an internet capable television, there's probably a way to do it. But thus far, I'm unaware of any television manufacturers who've incorporated this kind of safety into their product. But I would hope that in the future we might start to see some of that.
Now, I understand that in some of your research, you have talked about using red light. Now, explain to us what that is.
So red light actually does the opposite of blue light. So red light actually helps encourage melatonin production. And so for some people, having a red light in the evening can actually be beneficial. Number one is obviously there's no blue in it, so that's certainly helpful. But number two, there has been some data to show that red light can actually help people fall asleep a little bit quicker and maybe even get into some deeper stages of sleep faster. So for some of my patients who are really into this, we use red light in the last 30 minutes at night. But I have to warn you, it's kind of weird. I mean, walking around in your bedroom with with one of these red lights on is odd to me. So for me, what I've done is they actually now make commercially available light bulbs that have a filter in them that filters out the blue light, but it's almost imperceptible. You can't really tell. It's from a company called Lighting Science, and I think their website is www.lighting.science. And if you check it out there, they've got a good night bulb, and that's what I use in my home for my kids and for myself. That way I don't have to worry about, do I have a red bulb in? Do I have the anti-blue bulb? It gets crazy after a while. So this way I kind of just put it in, don't have to worry about it, use my blue blockers, have my TV on the timer, and I'm in good shape.
Yeah, because I'm afraid that if I put a red light bulb in my bedroom, my wife's going to walk in and going, "What do you have on your mind, honey?" Because I don't think that's going to work. You know,
I don't think. I mean, I hope it works, but I don't know if it will work.
well, I want to check out those light bulbs because I know that, especially my wife and I, we really do not like these brand new LEDs. They put off the weirdest looking light in a room, and I like that warm light, and I think the light looks too cold. But do we have to worry about that? Even the light bulbs that they produce today, are those putting out a lot of blue light?
They are. Any type of commercial available bulb puts out blue light unless it specifically says otherwise. So again, that's why I've got these specialty bulbs just in my bedroom, and they're helpful. And my kids don't know it, but I put it in their room as well. That way, if they've got their bedside table light on, it's not causing them to have more difficulty sleeping at night.
Well, very quickly, Doctor, could you walk all of us through a healthy day to reduce overall blue light from the moment that we wake up in the morning? Because it seems like the first thing people grab is no longer coffee. They grab their smartphone, they check email, they check all their social media, and then they head to the office.
Right.
They're staring at a computer screen, and a lot of people, to me, don't go outside enough to receive healthy sunshine. But also, I understand that there's blue light there as well. And I know that you already explained our bedtime routine. How can we wake up in the morning and live throughout the day to reduce our exposure to blue light?
Well, I'm not convinced that we would want to reduce our exposure, especially in the morning. So the thing about it is that, as an example with my children, I walk into their rooms at night and I open up their shades. So that way they get sunlight first thing in the morning. It's actually probably the best thing that you can do is to get sunlight and some form of blue light in the morning. So let's say you wake up at 4:30 in the morning for your job and the sun isn't up yet. I've got patients where we actually use blue light boxes, like light therapy, if you will, for the morning time. So blue light in the morning is excellent. If you can, eat your breakfast on your patio, go for a quick walk down to the mailbox, take the dog out, do something to get blue light within 30 minutes of you waking up. And that will actually help clear brain fog and do better for you. I would also argue that if you get sleepy or tired or kind of hit that afternoon slump between 1 and 3 in the afternoon, which most of us do, that's actually due to melatonin production based on a slight core body temperature drop. So instead of taking that coffee break or that donut break at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, take a sunshine break. Go outside, get some blue light, really help work for you in terms of alerting you and making you a little bit more alert in the morning time. And then in the evening is when we want to curtail blue light. And of course, in my morning time routine, I personally am using the Blue Team product to help build up those natural filters for me anyway to help reduce eye strain, macular degeneration, things like that.
So on the supplementation, one more time, is that taken once a day or can it be taken twice a day?
Yep. Once a day in the morning when I take it.
Oh, fantastic. Well, now you've kind of unsolved the mystery for me because I always wondered why when I would walk outside for a break, like you said, take that sunshine break. I'm a very big believer in that. And then when I go outside for 15 or so minutes and then come back in, I feel refreshed, energized, creativity starts flowing again. And that has to do with the natural blue light.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You nailed it.
Well, I can tell you one thing. You are a wealth of incredible knowledge. And ladies and gentlemen, this is the second time I've had seriously, I mean, sometimes we take the simple things of life for granted and, blue light, the way you've explained it all. And I hope all my listeners out there take this extremely serious, because we want, our eyes are probably the most delicate organ in our body. We need to take care of our eyes. So a lot of you need to look into getting a high quality blue blocking glass lenses if you're staring at your phone a lot at home or at the office, if you're looking at a computer screen. And also check out the Blue Team product that Dr. Breus has told us about today with the lutein and the zeaxanthin in it. And I'm sure there's other nutrients as well. And doctor, where can we all learn more about you?
If people want to learn more about me, if you come to my website, which is thesleepdoctor.com, you can learn all kinds of things. Sign up for my newsletter. I've got some great blog articles and things like that. A lot of stuff on blue light. So if you head over to my blog and go to the search bar, just type in blue light, you'll find all kinds of good stuff.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to be logging on after this interview to get signed up with the sleep doctor himself, Dr. Michael Breus, and to learn more about what he is doing and all the information that will definitely improve and better our overall lives. Dr. Breus, it's been an absolute honor to have you on the show today. And again, you are a wealth of knowledge and hope to have you back soon.
Well, thank you so much. I love what you're doing, and I'll come back anytime.
Hey, thank you so much. And remember, everyone, to catch every episode of Life Changing Wellness, just hit subscribe on iTunes or on my show page at radiomd.com/Dr. Bond. And if I can ask you a favor, please take 30 seconds, rate the show on iTunes, check out our other channels such as iHeart and others. And I want to thank you for doing that for me as we want to bring you the best show possible. And you can also learn more about me at drwardbond.com. And check out my daily television show, The Dr. Ward Bond Show, on Direct and Dish. You can find all that information on my website. And again, thank you for listening to Life Changing Wellness. I am your host, Dr. Ward Bond. And remember, something spectacular happens when you treat your body right. Have a blessed day. Have a blessed day. Have a blessed day. Have a blessed